Sometimes it is a really good idea to look at a passage of scripture from different translations. The reason why you might want to do this is because it helps you to be able to see how the different translators treated the different words and how what English words they chose um, to represent a Hebrew or a Greek word. Let's just use the Bible Study Tools website to do this. And we are going to be using 1 Peter 2:13 through 17. I'm going to click Find It. It will bring up the New International Version. And you'll see that here it has one version. I'm going to come down and click on Parallel. And when I do, it's going to bring up right beside it another New International. Well, I don't want to compare it to itself. So I'm going to click on this, and it's a drop-down menu. You won't be able to see all of these, but I am going to select English Standard Version. When you click on it, you'll be able to see all of them, but the system I'm using doesn't show that. So now you can see I have the New International Version and the English Standard Version side by side. And I want you to look at verse 13. In the English Standard Version, it says, "Be subject for the Lord's sake to every human institution, whether it be to the emperor as supreme." And the New International Version says, "Submit yourselves for the Lord's sake." That's a little easier to understand. Compare that to "be subject for the Lord's sake." The English Standard Version is probably closer to the original language, but this helps us kind of understand what does it mean when we say "be subject." It means submit yourself. And so that just is an example of how sometimes comparing the different versions can help. But let's say I want to look at more than just two versions. I want to look up at a lot in one screen. So I'm going to find that verse again, our passage, and I'm going to come down here and I'm going to click Compare instead of Parallel. And when I do, it's going to bring up just the first verse. I'd have to do this for each verse. And the reason why they do one verse at a time is because they show you, they put onto the screen every single one of their translations. They give you that one verse. You get to compare it with all the different translations. So you can really, if you're struggling with maybe a passage, you might find yourself looking at several different versions. For instance, here in the Message, it says, "Make the master proud of you by being good citizens. Respect the authorities, whatever their level." Now, this we know is a paraphrase, and it's written in very modern language, and it's not a word-for-word translation. And I wouldn't use it when I'm just looking at one version, but that's a good one to always look to after you've looked at it in several of the other word-for-word translations. So check it out, Bible Study Tools.